Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with some more Pittsburgh Steelers tape breakdown and analysis. Been meaning to make this video for a little bit, finally went through the tape and pulled all the clips I wanted to share. Big year 3 for Broderick Jones, left tackle, moving over to replace Dan Moore Jr. Truly, I think, a make-or-break season for him. Promising rookie year, terrible regression in his sophomore season, creates a huge 2025 for him and for the team. A lot to work on with his game, but we're going to talk about very basic, foundational things that guys got to focus and lock in 2025. It was a big issue in 2024. Let's talk about it. Before we start, if you guys could like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Would really appreciate it. So this video could be a half hour long with all the issues Jones had last year. We're barely even going to talk about actual technique and post-snap activity. So much of this is mental, so much of this is pre-snap, knowing snap counts, knowing assignment. If you don't do that, it's going to be hard to win at the NFL level. So just a couple of clips here. This one, that disastrous Week 2 game where he got benched on his one and only drive, was supposed to be a rotation between himself and Troy Fautanu, but this drive, so many penalties, so many issues. Jones was benched and only really got his job back because Fautanu dislocated his kneecap in practice days later, out for the rest of the season. So running this through, false start. One of the many penalties on this drive. There were a couple of holding calls, but that can be more of a technique thing, a little more ticky-tack, ref interpretation thing. This is knowing the snap count. And what happened here is Jones thought they were going on 1, they were going on 2, and you can definitively see that. I'm not guessing. I can clearly see that here. You see Frazier fake his head bob for 1, try to get these guys to jump. In turn, it makes Broderick Jones jump instead. And watch Pat Freiermuth right here. You might have already seen it. Turns to Broderick, holds up the TJ Watt deuces, 2, as to say the snap count is 2. Justin Fields, trying to console him a little bit in a frustrating moment, but got to know the snap count. Jones does not. Cost you 5 yards. We talk about not knowing the snap count. How about not knowing the play call itself? Maybe a check here made by the Steelers. A little hard to say exactly where wires got crossed, but watch Broderick Jones. He thinks it's a run. It's a pass. No pass set, and you got Max Crosby, one of the most dangerous pass rushers in the NFL, screaming free off the edge, and only because of the mobility and escapability of Justin Fields does this play avoid disaster. Fields able to make something out of it. Actually turns into a pretty positive play for the Steelers, but not a situation you want to be in, clearly. So you see Jones here does not realize it's a pass. He's getting upfield like it's going to be, a draw or maybe an RPO. I'm not really sure what happened here, and frankly, Jones is not sure either. He tries to get back, and this was a throw, could be an eligible man downfield. Fields taking off negates that concern, but yeah, don't want to leave any pass rusher free, especially not Max Crosby, and Broderick Jones is simply not knowing the play. Everyone else on the same page. He's not. And this play should have been a sack, only bailed out by Justin Fields. I'm going to bounce around after this clip because there's another one very similar I want to show, and I can't tell you exactly what's happening here. I'm not even going to necessarily blame Broderick Jones, but there's some consistent thread here of issues over communication and frustration with Zach Frazier. Now, maybe these are truly Frazier's issues as a rookie center. This was week 6 against the Raiders, the game he got hurt in, unfortunately. But we're going to run this thing back. We're seeing Justin Fields make a check here. Frazier helping out with the line call. Broderick Jones is not getting the message. And you see him tap Mason McCormick, trying to get the call, trying to look. What is the call? What is the check? Unclear. And this play really ends up kind of being a mess. Najee Harris, with his leg drive and strength and power, turns it into a positive, and so it feels like, hey, great play. You got 10 yards or whatever it is out of it, but you see Jones go up to Frazier here and say something to him to the effect of, I'm not getting the call. I don't know what's going on. No one's communicating with me. So you see, not sure if this shows it will, okay, Fields making the check here, Frazier making a call as well. Everyone else seems to kind of get it, but Jones does not. And you see him kind of waving his hand like, I don't know what we're checking into. And on the snap here, Jones, it looks like he's supposed to reach this 3-tech as McCormick goes to the second level, and it just kind of becomes a big mess. And this D tackle goes free. as Jones does not reach and get his hips across the D-tackle. As McCormick climbs, this D-tackle's free, and it's only saved because Najee Harris has that great leg drive and power that now he'll put on for the LA Chargers. And you see Jones, who does hustle to try to push the pile, so credit to him there for finishing the play. But as soon as it ends, you see him grab Frazier from behind, turn him around, and saying something to him there. So this may truly be on Zach Frazier, but we got to get communication with our tackles and our centers in year two. And this is not the only example. This I saw multiple times. I only have it recorded in my notes when I saw it twice. We'll look at the second clip here in a moment. But we got some issues here between, center tackle communication, and a lot of times it was with Broderick Jones. And also a Roman Wilson sighting, one of 5 snaps he had as a rookie in 2024. So got to figure this stuff out. Let me show another example. This is one of the final snaps of the season in the wild card loss, fourth quarter to Baltimore. Run the play through. And again, we're going to see some frustration in snap count, something going on between Broderick Jones and Zach Frazier. Jones gets beat around the edge. Russell Wilson is sacked, and we're seeing on screen Jones some post-snap communication with Zach Frazier. Let me try to find... I think I know what happened here, but I'm going to play it through. And so we're seeing the sack, Jones throwing his hands up in the air, immediately going over to Frazier, talking to him. These may be on Frazier. This may be a Frazier issue. But I think what happened here is... Let me see if I have it timed up right. Let me back it up here a little bit. Frazier, the snap count was on 2. And so we're seeing kind of a fake snap here, little Bob, Malu, the tap to signal to Frazier, but they're faking it here. You see him put his head down, and watch Broderick Jones right there. You see, I kind of covered it with my cursor, but he almost false started, I think. And I think there was some issue with Jones, maybe being unsure what the snap count was, but going on 1, going on 2. I'll let it just run through. Head bob. You see Jones, that left foot flexed, and no one pointed it out, was not called, got away with it. But I think that was maybe the issue where Jones wasn't sure the snap count, almost went, and just communicating that with Frazier. So this may be on Frazier, but regardless, the common theme seems to be with Broderick Jones as well, and got to get these things cleaned up. Got to be on the same page, especially these guys moving to year 2 for Frazier, year 3 for Jones, working together. These things can't persist. Let's jump to Week 15 against the Eagles. One of about 8 snaps the Pittsburgh Steelers offense had that day as the Eagles doubled up Pittsburgh in time of possession. And Broderick Jones getting away with a false start here. This should have been called, should have been 5 yards. Would have been an additional penalty in a penalty-filled year for Broderick Jones. Tough situation on the road, hostile environment in Philadelphia. And Pittsburgh does this at home, and they've done it effectively, stemming the front. So home teams in loud environments will stem the front. They will shift the D-line down a gap to try to basically simulate the snap count and try to get the offensive line to jump, because these guys are working on silent counts. We're not going on a cadence. It's silent counts. It's tapping, as Malu does here. And so there's no verbal cue. They're just basically going off those visual cues, trying to maybe key the leg of the center, the ball, or the adjacent player. So we're seeing the Eagles stem the front right here, and Jones clearly shifts. This should have been a false start, and frankly, I'm not sure how it wasn't. Luckily, Pittsburgh gets away with it, and the play goes on, although the play goes nowhere, as 98 here beats the block of Broderick Jones. That is, looks like Jalen Carter, and this run goes nowhere for Jalen Warren. And not a good rep for Broderick Jones all the way around. So tough place to play. Obviously, Philadelphia, miserable game for the Steelers in that losing streak. But stemming the front, got to be aware. Teams are going to do that. You can't get got. And Jones, was certainly fooled and luckily bailed out by no call from the officials. Let's go earlier to the Eagles game. A little different, but missed assignment all the same for Broderick Jones. We've seen snap count issues. We've seen, is it run or pass? And this time, everyone's on the same page. It's a run, but who's blocking who? We see Van Jefferson cracking the linebacker, and Jones takes the same man. That leaves a free runner, number 17, Nakobe Dean, to tackle Jalen Warren through the hole. So we're seeing Van Jefferson. He's going to crack down on Zach Bond. Jones should be leading through to the second level to the Mike linebacker, Nakobe Dean. He does not. Maybe that late shift here by Bond screwed things up. Not 100% sure, but Jefferson's going to be responsible for cracking that first color, essentially. He's not going to be working to Dean, of course. He'll be working to crack Bond. And so I'm pretty confident in saying this is not a Van Jefferson issue, and end up getting 2 on the linebacker, Bond, 17 running free, get those free runners in the hole like that. Your run game is going to go nowhere. Too big of an issue across the board, not just with Broderick Jones, but just in general for Pittsburgh's offensive line last year. But missed assignment, mental error, whatever you want to call it. It's a problem for Broderick Jones. It has nothing to do with lack of talent. Jones is physically gifted. The ability is there. Got to focus, got to lock in. Know your assignment. He does not. Negative play. Finally, to really sum up just the Steelers' losing streak going back to this Ravens wild card loss. Who's pulling? They're both pulling. Both tackles, Dan Moore Jr. and Broderick Jones, pulling on this play, nearly running into each other as this run goes nowhere. So who's at fault here, Dan Moore Jr. or Broderick Jones? I believe this is on Broderick Jones for a couple of reasons. A, the back follows Dan Moore, so that's kind of a clear indicator there. Just watching the blocking team overall, watching the down block here from Spencer Anderson, as Moore wraps around, suggests this run is supposed to go right side. If this run was going to go to the left and follow Broderick Jones on this start scheme with the tackle pulls, Anderson's not going to have his hips open to that side. He'd be trying to seal off and basically be turning and kind of fanning the defenders out. And so his hips would not be open like this to have this gap, this A-gap free if this run was going to go to the left where the defensive lineman could potentially spike down through. And just kind of watching the overall blocking scheme. And also just given Jones' repeated issues we've just walked through, Moore being a veteran. Pittsburgh generally, most teams are a right-handed team when it comes to running the football. The fake that Wilson executes here at the end. A lot of reasons to, again, be pretty confident that this play was supposed to go to the right. Broderick Jones is pulling. Don't know why. Wires crossed, and he's just standing around blocking nobody at all. And so another mental error, has nothing to do with capability physically in terms of size and length and speed and strength and power and even technical things like hand placement and punch, which were certainly issues for Jones. I could have done another 20 minutes on that, but we're just seeing these critical mental errors, unforced errors, losing before the snap even begins by not knowing the snap count, by not knowing the play. Really, really tough to watch. So, I know I was very critical of Broderick Jones, rightfully so. It was not a good year for him. There was some improvement in the second half of the season. I know there were some injuries in the summer as well. This is not to give up on Broderick Jones. It's not to say that he can't play well. It's not to say he can't turn things around and be the player that Pittsburgh hoped and aspired he would be when they moved up 3 spots to draft him in 2023 as Omar Khan's first ever draft pick as Pittsburgh Steelers GM. He could turn things around, absolutely. Physically, it's all there for him. But the point is, he's got to lock in, he's got to focus, he's got to be better between the ears, and if he can do that, he'll give himself a chance. No guarantee of success, but he will give himself a chance. If he can't do that, if he continues to make these unforced errors where it's really hard to trust the guy, it's going to be another bad year for him, and Pittsburgh will be looking for a new left tackle in 2026. He'll decline his 5th-year option, and, will he start next year? Who knows? Tackle depth is very thin right now. It's him, Fautanu. They re-signed Calvin Anderson, also Dylan Cook, but there's not a whole lot there behind the starters. And Pittsburgh's offensive line must develop. They must play well this year. Not just him, Mason McCormick, Fautanu, and after effectively redshirting his rookie year, even Zach Frazier's got to continue his good play into year 2. Pittsburgh cannot do that. If they can't build this offensive line to become a top 10 unit at the least, then there's big problems because Pittsburgh has really banked on that, investing heavily in the offensive line, drafting Jones in the first round in 2023. All the investments in 2024. Fautanu first round, Frazier second round, McCormick in the 4th round. These guys have to play well. Pittsburgh's theory is very Eagles-like to build the trenches, and this offensive line must produce. And Jones certainly will be highlighted and under the microscope as much as anybody on the offensive line, and frankly, I think he's the Steeler currently facing the most pressure in 2025. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and check out the site, SteelersDepot.com. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you soon.